Hey members, Scott, next lesson we have here is on finding out when recent contributions were deposited into your TSP account. This is a very common question that gets asked in our QOD posts and elsewhere, so I think it's a really good idea to cover this here and show you exactly how to find that information for yourself. Now, there is a little caveat here with the us giving a stock answer. We can't give you a stock answer because every agency has a different day that they distribute the money, actually send the money to TSP. So if you're a DoD employee, for example, like I was and Deb still is, you might get your it might show up in your TSP account one particular day, but then somebody who works for Border Patrol or National Weather Service or some other agency, TSA for all we know. Any of those, they could end up having a completely different deposit date. So just because one person gets a deposit on a certain day doesn't mean that you will too, unless you work for the same agency as them. So it's important to know this information, and I'm going to show you how to figure out what actual dates apply to you, and then you can figure out from there how it relates to your actual payday. All right, well, moving on here. I'm going to do the desktop. I have a desktop demo here as well as a mobile demo. I'm going to start with the desktop side, right? Okay, this one here, when you first log into your account, over here on the left side in the navigation panel, hit recent transactions. Yeah, and it'll bring up this list here. So this particular individual who's a Border Patrol agent, or works for the Border Patrol, I should say, they have 3 recent transactions. They had an interfund transfer, a contribution, and a catch-up contribution. So the 2 contributions both were done on the same day. As you see here, both were on April 9. So if you're a Border Patrol worker or agent, whatever, then April 9 is going to be an effective day. What day of the week was that? That was, a Tuesday, I think? Double check that. Yeah, Tuesday. Uh, so if you're Border Patrol, your money's going to get into your TSP account apparently on Tuesdays. Now, I was a DoD employee, and usually mine went in on, if I remember right, it was Thursdays or Fridays. So that's an example of how, because the agencies are different, the deposit dates might vary also. So anyway, in particular, this person's, they had a contribution, a catch-up, and an interfund transfer. If you want to look at the contribution info specifically, I won't worry about the catch-up contribution info or the interfund transfer because we're dealing mainly with contributions. When did they actually show up? But if you want to get a little more detail on that, we'll go ahead and hit this right here where it says April 9, 2019. Just click that, and you'll get to this. Now, this is a different individual's information here. I've blacked out the personal stuff in here, but this was a great example. I'm really glad I got this particular one because this individual, who's an active duty Air Force member, they have both Roth and traditional side. So I'm able to get all this information here. But now this individual, their deposit went in on April 2nd. Now, we all know that active duty members usually get paid on the 1st of every month and maybe also the 15th. At least it was always the 1st and the 15th when I served. I can't remember if individuals can elect to get paid once a month or twice a month. I forget, but I know I got paid twice a month when I served. But regardless, April 2nd was the effective date on that one, and so basically the day after the individual got paid is when the money actually got put into their TSP account. They didn't have any contributions to the life cycle funds, thankfully. And all their contributions went to the individual or the GFCSI funds. I blacked that out because it's not important to know that, but you can view how many dollars went into each account I mean, into each fund, and then down here in the bottom, it'll show you the total dollar amount that went in, and on that, and uh, well, of course, I forgot to show this part. Just highlighting where it says 4.2, and then on the other detail you want to watch here is right here. This part says member Roth, and then on the next one down it says member traditional. So they have those two contributions, and you can see what applies to each one of the two if you do contribute to both Roth and traditional TSP. All right, so it's that simple. Just figure out what day the most recent contribution was and how it relates to your own payday, and more than likely that's going to be the same day of the week that all of your contributions should go in. All right, so let's move on to the mobile version now. Okay, so this particular case, now when you first log in, this is what you see. It shows your account balance information. What you're going to do when you get here is you're going to tap on this list icon right here, or the drop-down menu, as I call it, whatever, and hit that, and that'll pull up this menu right here. Okay, once you get to this, you're going to look for this recent transactions link right here. It's right below your account balance link, so just find that and then tap it, and you'll get to this. This is also the list of recent transactions for the individual. As you see here, again, this is a Border Patrol person. Their contribution, they had a contribution that went in on April 9, and they also had an interfund transfer that they did on April 1st. So, as an aside, this person obviously is following what Deb is doing, and as far as their distributions are concerned, and they had the most recent payroll contribution come in on the 9th. So next, we want to see what information, how much went into each fund or whatever. You hit this plus sign right here, and that'll expand it, and we'll see the list of how much money was contributed to each particular fund. And you see it even breaks down how much how much of your own personal contribution went into there, how much the agency automatic 1% was, and then how much the additional agency matching was, if applicable. I didn't mention it in the desktop version side, but both the desktop and mobile sides have this feature here. If you also want to know how many shares were involved in the contribution, you can just hit this button here for shares. In the desktop part, I'll show you again, just in case you need help with that. It's just a radio button right up here. Just hit shares. That's all you have to do. All right, so this should be a quick and easy, informative post for you guys, and hopefully it'll shrink down some of the number of these questions. These aren't exactly the extremely common question, but it's common enough, and I think it's definitely worth having in here as a resource for you. All right, that's it. If you have any questions or comments, as always, feel free to add them in the comment section. Thanks.